Well, welcome back to D-Bomb's Garage. I drug in my 72 Monty Carlo today and did some rearranging out in the holding pen. She's a rough critter. That was one I got in the package deal with the 70. Didn't have a rear end. They did a, I don't know what type of patch job that is. But this one is a bucket seat center console car with AC. And it appears to be a 350 motor. I gotta answer this real quick here. It had no interior in it, no steering wheel on it, no rear end under it. And then I think I've had it here for 2 years now. There's no carb on it. A mouse decided to make a house in there, so I'm gonna vacuum that out, but I'm probably gonna end up taking that intake off to make sure nothing is inside of it. I'll probably pop the valve covers out to double check that. Some critter made a nest in here also. I think when I first got them, I pressure washed them all off, but that's been a couple years. So this one will probably turn into a will it run. The 70, I think there's something messed up in the differential. So I think I'm going to get that on the lift to check it out. I'm going to take the cover off and inspect it. If there's a major issue with it, then I've got the rear end, an 8.2 rear end right here. That'll go up in it. And the rear end that's in the 70 will go into the 72. So for right now, I'm gonna throw you on the time lapse. I'm gonna get the 70 over to the lift and get it up in the air, and then I'll kick you back. Well, what they did is they pulled out part of the spider gears. That's pretty rusty and crusty, so it looks like I'll just pull it out, pull the whole differential out and set it underneath the 72. And the other thing I was noticing, does anybody have any idea of why they would cut that out and weld it back in? There and there. Anybody? anyone. It looks like they put a quarter on this. They did that to the other side also. They cut it out and then they put it back in. Front and rears. What is that? Something to try to make more room for tires or what? Somebody please enlighten me. I did a piss poor job of it, whatever they were doing. But neither here nor there. It's done. I'll patch it up the best I can. Put seam sealer on it and be done with it. So I got all the bolts soaking. Shocks don't look that old. Shouldn't take me long to change that rear end. I think once I get it out, I might just hit all that up with wire brush, sand it all down, wire it all down, and put a good black coating on it. That'll probably be for tomorrow. So I think my birdie just left. Had a cardinal stuck in the shop for last 4 hours. I think it just left. And it just come back in. What rip slinger. Damn bird, you were out. I went to well, oh well. So for right now, that's it. I'll catch up in a little bit here, see what happens. Well, I got the Cardinal out of the shop finally. Monty Carlos up in the air. I took out part of the spider gears in there and it's pretty rough, so I'm not going to use this rear end. I'll put it underneath that one to be able to make that a roller. I'll jump on line real quick and see about some spring. See, I can't come up with any of the spring bushings, spring rubbers, so I can get those. So, not that I think it needs it, but they should be in there. So, these ones don't have it, so I'm gonna go ahead and get them. These all new brake lines in here. lower control arms are new. Looks like the uppers are new. So I might not have much to do to the fronts, but get new rotors and calipers and brake hoses. And get me a new master cylinder. Now then, transmission bolts there, cross mount bolts there. Just depends on which one actually goes there. I've got 3 different ones. Now it's just time to figure out how the liquid ladder bars go on. But right now I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to find my drink wherever I put it and call it a night. Make sure all my doors are locked. No, not locked over there. Locked here. I forgot something. I'm taking the house. Did I set it down? If I did, where did I set it down? It's probably sitting next to my drink. Yep. So, just a little bit of work done on the Monty Carlos. So with that, I'm calling it a night. I'm out. Later on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks. Well, welcome back to D-Bomb's Garage. Now, the underside of this car is kind of straighten some of this out, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Main goal is to get the rear end out. Once the rear end is out, I can get some of these exhaust straps that I got up there out. I can do some repairs on the fuel tank mounts, bolt holes, clean that up, get those out ready. Half of these bolts for the rear end are loose. Or don't have nuts on them at all. So what I'm going to do today is get this one out, get the trailing arms out, this 8.2 is going in, and trailing arms are getting upgraded. Not sponsored by, but wish I would have been. UMI Performance, uppers, lowers, they are not adjustables. And a set of liquid ladder bars, old school style, that I prefer on this car anyway. And once I get that rear end out of the car, trailing arms and everything will be going under the 72. So it'll become a roller again. So right now I want to get my bench over there cleaned off. I'll put everything over onto this one. Get a pair of jack stands up underneath it, lower the car down to where I can get to all the bolts, get them all out, and get this rear end dropped out of this thing. So we got what? 2 shocks, so there's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts to undo, and the rear end will drop out. Let's see. Then I will take the control arms out, which is another 4 bolts, and all that will be out of the way. And I'm going to clean up the exhaust hangers or get all that off there. I might just come through and hit this all with wire brush and get it all cleaned up and paint. Do some paint real quick. Coil springs, I do have another set of coils that came with the rear end. I'll compare them. The rubbers, I can get those later. That shouldn't be a hard project to change. So with that, let's get at it. Let's see, we got nuts on top of here. I still can't believe how clean this car undercarriage is. I think I'll open my door up. I'll probably kick you guys onto time lapse. It is a rainy, drizzly day. Glad I got some of my cleaning up done and rearranging. Unfortunately, I didn't get the parts Jeep off the trailer, which I wanted to do before it rained. But as I say, it is what it is. So right now, I'm gonna kick you over to time lapse. So here we go. Well, didn't need to bore you with everything that was going on, but I got it all wired, wheeled, and put some paint on it, made it look a lot better than it did. I went ahead and mocked the control arms into place because I got it on a roller. I can adjust it from there. It asked for a little bit of lubrication at the bolts. I got that done. Got these done. I'm going to leave these off because that's where the traction bars mounts are going to hit. This one, this mount on the ladder bar. Oops. Scratched my new junk. This hole can line up in there. Then I got 2 mounts after it's all together to add in. This is one of them, which is going to end up going right here. And then another one I gotta drill holes and mount in there. So right now I'm just gonna let the paint finish drying until tomorrow. But it's starting to come back together. Hopefully tomorrow, I was hoping today to have the rear end back in, but hopefully tomorrow I have the rear end back into this one, the 70, and have that rear end back into the 72. I hope. That's the plan. So with that, I will see you tomorrow. Welcome back. It's next morning, November 1st. Getting a late start in the shop. Listed a couple vehicles up on Face Space to sell. Let's see. All right. Not a great job painting, but it does look a lot better. I did mount put in place the upper control arms, the lower control arms. They're from UMI Performance. I didn't get the adjustable ones. Didn't have that type of cash at that time. Still don't. Let's see. I've got an 8.2 rear differential going back in it. Unfortunately, I really would love to have a Curry Enterprises disc brake 9-inch unit to go back in it, but that's way out of my budget. I have wine taste, but a water budget. So I'm using what I have on hand. The control arms I bought probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I'm also adding liquid ladder bars to it. I like the style. They look old school style. That's what's going in it right now. I don't have the bump stops or the cushions for the coil springs. I can do those at a later time. I don't have the rubber brake line for it. I really do need to cut this fuel line in real quick where somebody else had cut it out. But it does look a whole lot better underneath than it did. I seam sealed all the areas in here, painted it so hopefully there's no leaks. But underneath the car itself, and she is virtually no rust in the floor pans. That place needs to be seam sealed there. It's a solid car. Frame's not all rotted out. There's no rust on it at all. The prime thing on this to have done, in which I really wanted to do, was take the body off the frame, take the frame down, strip it down, and have it blasted and cleaned, and then repaint it and get some of the body work done while the body was off. But I don't have that kind of money. I just want to drive it, get it on the road, do a couple burnouts with it, and probably sell it. I might take care of some of the rust spots that are on it. This side needs to be pulled out a little bit in the rear. That's the only real rust that it's got is in those two rear quarters. The front fenders seem to be all right. The people I got it from had deleted the markers on the front and on the rear. So I thought about grinding all that out, but no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to let it ride. So with that, as I'd like to get this back into a roller today. I'd like to get the 72 into a roller today. So with that, I guess I'm going to try to roll the differential back underneath it and get the bolts set back in and start lining up the ladder bars, get the ladder bars lined up, get the trailing arms hooked up. Then I'll get the ladder bars starting to set up in place. Going to have 4 holes to drill for it, and those are going to be probably right in here, because I have to be able to get in here, that hole, to get the mount done. And that brake line's going to have to move. So with that, I'm just going to kick you on over to time lapse and go from there. All right, got the trailing arms kind of hung up out the way. The uppers I'm not going to mess with until I get the rear end underneath it, which I'm going to try to do right now. If I have to, I can slide it by hand up into place, I think. Jockey it around a little bit. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to start letting it down. Well, after being pissed off that I had the wrong rear end, I do have the right rear end. What it was is, partial problem was, I got the wrong upper control arms. I put the old ones back in. After I started really looking at it, I got the rear end in, but the upper control arms, I was putting it in a mighty big bind. Didn't like the way it was feeling. So I grabbed one of the control arms and held it up to the new one. And lo and behold, I found the problem. Why my things weren't lining up. I didn't even think about checking it because I got a kit of the upper and the lowers. Lowers are fine. 64 to 72. All right. But when I ordered the kit, I didn't see that the uppers were 64 to 67. 64 to 67 have a freaking longer upper trailing arm. So you can see how much of that was in a bind. Once I figured that out, I got it back in. I went online and I ordered the correct upper control arms. Those should be here on the 5th. And it shouldn't be that hard to change. So I figured when I get those changed, I will go ahead and do the remaining ladder bars. I will bolt these two together and tag them as 64 to 67 upper control arms, buddy. So I was pissed off at myself, assuming that I got the wrong rear end, which in fact I didn't. But it is in place. I got the coil springs in there, got the shocks all mounted up. It's almost back together. As I said, I'll put it back on the ground, push it out the way so I at least have my lift back. Thought I heard the car door. That was negative. So the 70 has got the rear end back in it that actually has the spider gears in it. And will work. So now I can put the wheels back on it, get it off the lift, get it back over there. I'm debating on whether or not to go ahead and jockey the 72 over here so I have a better view of everything that's going on underneath it, or attack it on the ground. I really need to get that thing mobile-ish. Still need a steering wheel for it. That way I'll be able to steer it. I should go ahead and try to clean the intake out, vacuum it out. I have a feeling I'll need to pull the intake off. Because of the mouse house in there. Oops. There we go. As you can see, the mouse house. I'll vacuum it out, vacuum it all off. And as I said, probably gonna have to pull pull it off, make sure, pull the valve covers off, and pull the intake off, and make sure that no mice have gotten down in the upper intake area, the valley there, whatever you want to call it. And if they didn't get down that freaking far, then I guess I'll put another intake on it. I'll find something I got in the shop to slam on it. See if it'll turn over. .302 intake there. A couple intakes up here that I could probably use. Slam on it real quick. I got a couple carbs that might work here, and HEI distributors. I've got a couple over here. I'm slamming it instead of having points. So, with that, I'm going to slam the wheels back on this, get it back out the way. So again, I have my lift open. All the bolts for the suspension are loose because that one, let's see where to go. Where'd it go? That one. Actually, we'll hold this right there. Just like what the? Hold it just like that right there. And then this, you come up right there. It'll come up right there. And then this will come right there. And it'll get all bolted up right there. That'll get bolted up right there. And then the ladder bar will come up and go right there. Ouch. But that'll be for once I get the other control arms in. I can put these two together. Well, again, enough is enough. I'll play with this a little bit later. For now, I got the rear end in. I reordered upper control arms. They should be here by the 5th. I can get those on, then get the ladder bars all set up in place, get the 4 holes drilled, and get it on rims and tires, lower it down, bounce on it a couple times, tighten everything up, and I'll be good to go. I think. I have the rear end done at least. Now see what's in the trunk as far as the fuel line, the sending unit wiring for it. Put the gas tank together. I put the gas tank up underneath it, and then it'll all be done ish. So with that, I'm done for now. That's it on the update on what's going on with the Monte Carlo today or this week. So I'm out. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks for watching. Later all. Well, I'm back just for a little bit here. The best of me got to me here. The best. I figured I'd mock the ladder bars into place. I got to do some adjusting on the holes here to get the slide a little bit better. I'm probably going to lengthen a couple of brackets, ticking the floor a little bit up in here and in here to clear the bolts, or I'll just cut them off. I think I'm gonna like it. Now, the other thing I might end up getting, but I don't think it's gonna work, would have been a sway bar, but traction bars will work. Years and years ago, what we do is we take a bar, poke it out, and come across, put lights on it. Used to do stupid stuff like that, but they're locked into place. I got to adjust them. I have to put it on the ground, get everything adjusted in right. And get the weight on the car to get everything in place. So with that, I'm gonna put the wheels back on the back of it, and we'll move it back out the way until the upper control arms get here. And I think I'm gonna slide underneath the 72 and slam that rear end into it. So again, thanks for checking me out. We'll be back on these Monte Carlos later. I haven't decided what motor to put in this one yet. I do have a 5.3 with a 4L60E right here. Now if I can remember how to put that 4L60E onto a 6.0, I might put the 6.0 in there, but I do have to change this head. I come out of a wreck, so I'm going to assume it's a good motor. Those are the 317 heads, which I have 2 sets over there. I'll just have to figure out how to come up with the wiring harness to set it in. And transmission mount. I got the motor mounts already. I got the oil pan already. I'll have to see how it goes. Alright, again, I'm out. Later I'll hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks for checking my channel out. Later all.